I just want you to know I practiced this word about 20 times to make sure that I did not mispronounce it.
I have a question. Has anyone ever said with all due respect and then not followed up with a zinger?
His side of the bed. If I come in and I'm on the other side, he will move it. Yeah, that's it.
Which side do you like? With all due respect, you make a good point.
Cheery Oreos! Toasted Oreos!
Mute. He's muted.
I love what he's saying. He doesn't need sounds.
You're so small, squishing your head, Joseph.
You can.
Do it with me, Joe.
With all due respect, you really do look handsome, Bruce. Cheery Oreos, toasted Oreos.
Look at you. You are insane.
How did I do that?
You're
How
insane.
did I do that? You just made the intro reel. Yes, you did.
You're insane.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Corona TV. I'm at the crypto exchange. I don't even know if that thing exists. I don't even know what if that word exists. But I'll tell you what does exist. What exists today is irony. Okay, what exists today is irony. Today, believe it or not, is U.S. Paper Money Day. Can you believe it? It is U.S. Paper Money Day. And we are not talking about US paper money today. We're talking about cryptocurrency. We're talking about the creator economy. We're talking about creator coins. We're talking about non-fungible tokens, NFT. We're talking about whatever it is that you want us to talk about. We'll talk about today. It's a great day. It's a great day to be talking about the future. And that's really what the show is about today. You guys know that I launched my creator coin, the JAFFE coin. It just makes me smile, by the way, every time I think about it. You can actually go and check out. You'll see. We'll talk about the JAFFE coin today, and I'm using the JAFFE coin to build the JAFFE economy, all things JAFFE all the time. The ability to get shout outs on the show, the ability to get supersized shout outs, the ability not just to redeem for priceless experiences, both tangible and intangible. They all come together in a beautiful universal currency-led marketplace. And that's what I've been doing. I've been doing other things as well, just experimenting all the time. I'm happy to say that someone just bought 30 minutes of mentoring, coaching, strategic advisory, or brainstorming with me for just $30. And I say just $30 because my rate card is just a little bit north of 30. But that's the first mover advantage that comes from being first to market and experimentation. And it really, really energizes me, I have to say, when you start to do new things and experiment, trial and error, and determine what works and what doesn't. But I'm not the expert. I'm just a creator. I'm the creator of Corona TV and owner of a creator coin. Mahesh Vellanki is the co-founder of Rally, and you're going to hear from him soon. A true visionary, and in fact, everything that they're doing is visionary as well. Tomorrow, Julia McCoy at the old time of 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then finally we're back to our community show on Friday with Brian Kramer, Trisha Ben, Christina DiGiacomo, and David Ormano. It's going to be awesome. Let's say happy birthday to Mr. Jeremy Epstein. Jeremy, one of the earliest that I can remember marketers getting involved in blockchain. And there's Tanya and Gary and Katie, old friends, young friends, new friends. Happy birthday to all of you, as well as my LinkedIn connections with much longer names, but Serge and Esti, Ishwar, Vikram, Louis. Hope you guys are well and having a great day. Why not create a great day, a day filled with positivity, with hope, with optimism? That is the goal of Corona TV. Well, let's get into our seated soliloquy. And the seated soliloquy is appropriately called the creator economy. As you may recall, a couple weeks back, I delivered a soliloquy titled A JAFFE for Your Thoughts, which actually introduced the JAFFE Creator Coin. Today, I have one of the visionaries responsible for the Creator Coin initiative, Rally's Mahesh Vellanki, on the show. This soliloquy is not about how you can send me JAFFE as a tip, although I have to say, this week I've received several tips from you, not like, look left and right when crossing the road, but actual JAFFE coin. So I see all of you, and where possible, I will keep mentioning you, promoting you, and thanking you. Glenn, Rebecca, Freddie, my mother. What? She watches the show too. Why can't she send me coin? This soliloquy is not about coins. It's about creators, and specifically the creator economy. Now, my definition of a creator is someone born in and out of the streaming era, including but not limited to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Clubhouse, and the like. Call them web-lebrities if you want, as long as you call them. They are not bound by age nor their degree of digital savvy. They are challengers. They are upstarts. They are rising stars. They are diverse. They are talent. They're not performers, at least in the traditional sense. Although some sing, some juggle, some do magic, some tell jokes. But also some code, some paint, some write and deliver poetry, some 3D print, some influence, some put together dance videos and lip-syncing videos on TikTok, some cook. All contain the same fiery DNA of what I call the entrepreneurial revolution. Until recently, there was no generally accepted business model to support the creator economy. But today, we're seeing several emerging and growing solutions and revenue streams like Patreon, OnlyFans, Cash App, Venmo, and of course, creator coins. To be fair, many of the social platforms are building mechanisms themselves like super chats or applauding on YouTube, but they're still somewhat top heavy. In other words, they still reward the bigger names. It's kind of like the Matthews effect for influencers, where the rich get richer, thanks to the cumulative advantage of a follow account that is oftentimes opaque and even inflated. What I'm interested in is helping to educate the general public, you guys, to recognize the blood, sweat, and tears of the creator economy, and to become more comfortable rewarding them for their guts, passion, grit, creativity, and talent. These are exciting times, and I truly believe we are witnessing not only a democratization of creators and both deep and diverse creativity, but at the same time, a rebalancing of power, influence, and monetization of this content. Viva la revolution! And now it's time to bring on another revolutionary, my guest today, Mahesh Vellanki. A little bit of background on him. Mahesh is an expert in e-commerce and marketplace growth. He is the co-founder of Rally, and Rally was just named by Business Insider as one of the media startups that VCs say are poised to take off in 2021. In his role, he drives supply, demand, overall community growth, leading business development, community operations, marketing communications, and customer service functions. Prior to founding Rally, he served as a venture capitalist at Redpoint Ventures from 2012 through 2018, where he led growth investments in the consumer internet, e-commerce, online education, fintech, and healthcare spaces. Please join me in welcoming him to the show. Mahesh.
Hey, Joseph, how are you?
How's it going?
It's going well. Thanks for having me. I don't know how I'm going to top all of that.
We have good news. Apparently, Glenn's Jaffe coin is up 6.7%. He said, and his BTC, his Bitcoin's going to hit 60,000 today. So thanks for the update, Glenn. It's actually been great. I mean, Glenn's been one of my regular viewers. He joins us on the after show, and he's bought Jaffe coin and he sends it to me. And you know, it's funny, Mahesh. And I know we'll get to it shortly, but even if he just sends me one, it really is the thought that counts. Even though I'm playing on, you know, Jaffe for your thoughts or my thoughts, I love it when it happens because it makes me feel appreciated and validated.
That's amazing. Yeah, it almost feels like, you know, it's the Jaffe country with the Jaffe currency, and you know, these folks are almost citizens, right? And they buy into into everything that's exciting about your brand.
I love it. The Jaffe country. The only passport you need to get into the Jaffe country is reciprocity, generosity, creativity, empathy, kindness. You will get your visa in perpetuity as long as you embody those characteristics. So yeah, I'm going to use that now, the Jaffe country, in addition to the Jaffe coin. Stephen Rubin says, let us show caution in asking for revolution. Well, you know, maybe, but all things that are worth and worthy begin with some kind of revolt against the status quo. So chill out, Stephen. We will lead you slowly, my friend. And Tom Morris says, I may consider running for mayor of Jaffe Town. Why not? Why not? Well, Mahesh, let's, before we get into the meat and potatoes, let's find out some interesting facts about you. I told you there are going to be some twists and turns on the show, some fun stuff as well as we find out who is the real Mahesh. Well, the first thing I had to say is, I look at this GQ man and immediately someone famous comes to mind. So I have to ask you the question, have you ever been confused or compared to a certain celebrity? Let me see if I got it right.
My wife gives me Enrique Iglesias a lot.
Enrique Iglesias. I have a different celebrity. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Come on, tell me.
Ooh, that's even better. I do like Drake's music. It's not the worst celebrity, so I'll take it. I like Drake.
The only problem is I'm actually not sure which one is Drake and which one is you, but we'll let people decide. Glenn says, by the way, he wants to be the dog catcher in Jaffe Town. Sure, as long as I can pay you in Jaffe coin. But Mahesh, a couple of other interesting things about you. First of all, I have to say congratulations. You are expecting a baby girl in May. My daughter was born in May as well. Do you know or not do you know? Can you share the due date?
It is May 6th.
All right. My daughter was born May 18th. So I guess they share the same star sign. I know what to send you, obviously. There's a lot of cool creativity out there on the web. And I love this announcement on the bottom left, right? That her college fund is already, there's an ID to start already transferring and supporting their college fund. But did you do any grand reveal, any crypto reveal for
Yeah, no crypto reveal. I think my wife is sick of hearing about crypto from me. So we are planning on having an outdoor in-person baby shower in April, which is we're very excited about meeting actual people.
I'm hoping you might even be able to do it indoor the way things are going. Hopefully, hope springs eternal. Mahesh, another thing that I found interesting about you is you refer to yourself as a consummate generalist, good at a ton of things, excellent at none. I'm sure one thing you are probably excellent at is humility. But it just got me thinking, this whole idea of being a generalist versus a specialist or an expert. And I thought maybe you are an expert generalist, perhaps. Maybe that's what you're good at. You're great or an expert at being good at a lot of things. It's a good middle ground, don't you think?
I think so. That's what I'm starting to realize. And so, trying to make that my shtick and my focus area. I've just always been that way. I've been a very curious person. I always move on from things and explore new things before I finish the first thing, right? And so it takes me into a lot of different directions, which I think is good. You know, it's good and bad.
Well, I mean, curiosity is obviously a bit of a superpower for you, because it's probably led you down a path where you've explored new ideas, new precedent, new sandboxes, you know, to play in. And I wonder if you could tell us, like, what got you interested in this particular space, this iteration of your story and your journey to date?
Yeah, so I think starting from the beginning, I was always super into technology and video games, and I was the type of kid who was, you know, trying to build his own PC from custom parts, and I loved the wild, wild west of the internet. And I was way more into that than I was into school or getting good grades or anything like that. And so just kind of followed my nose. And when I graduated college, I started my career in finance in technology as an investment banker in the technology sector. And I kind of just kept following my nose. I got more involved with startups. I joined a VC firm, got closer and closer to the entrepreneurial spirit, got closer to the cutting edge of technology. And, you know, over the past decade or so, we've really seen like the maturation of the internet, and it was all really exciting. And inevitably, I got curious about the next set of frontiers, right? And there's, you know, you start to think about self-driving cars and, you know, all the stuff Elon Musk is doing, and AR and VR and all this cool stuff. And cryptocurrency was like one of those massive areas that was really just getting going. And so, you know, had an opportunity to take the plunge here, and I did.
You said something when we were talking before, which I found to be really interesting. And you spoke about this, you know, the last 12 months, and specifically living during the times and the, you know, the age of COVID. And I thought it was interesting because, you know, so many people have pivoted or been forced to pivot. You actually talk about how COVID and how Corona has actually been an accelerant and maybe a catalyst, not just for, I suppose, crypto to a degree, but specifically as it relates to this idea of even the reason for being with respect to, you know, Rally and the adoption of social tokens. So talk a little bit about how you see why this time, why the last 12 months in terms of creating this acceptance, this adoption, and this growth of social tokens, and even this comfort level with respect to using them on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. So I think COVID forced everyone to pause and reconsider their business strategy. The creator economy was no exception, of course. I think creators have always been forward thinking in how to just grow and monetize in different ways. And so, you know, one area that everyone from investors to artists and influencers are watching closely is crypto and social tokens. And I think the music industry and music artists in particular are like the best example of this, right? Like they overnight had to stop touring and selling tickets, and like all that industry revenue is dried up. And at the same time, you have these platforms like Clubhouse and Discord and, you know, NFTs and these new digital ways to interact with fans. And it's just, you know, it's just a no-brainer for a musician to be thinking about things like social tokens. And so, you know, I think for a project like Rally, it's just a huge accelerant. And I think it's here to stay, right? Once we all go back to work and start meeting again in person, I think those changes are like just tectonic, fundamental shifts in, you know, in creator economy specifically.
We're going to get into the creator economy. I just want to, you know, put a little bow on that, because I think it's interesting. And you know, as a creator and part of this, the Creator Coin initiative myself, we're always talking about and celebrating use cases, as in how can I use, you know, my Creator Coin to deepen fan engagement and build this community, or now as we call it, the JAFFE country. But I like what you've done, which is actually looking at use cases as industries, as groups of people that were really that had no choice, but were forced to reconsider the way that they were compensated, the way that they were rewarded, the way that they could actually create value given all these constraints. And it seems like, it like hits me like a ton of bricks. The biggest constraint we've had is a physical one, right? It's not coincidental. It's US paper money day. But what we've seen is an explosion of connection, creativity, collaboration that has no physical boundaries or constraints. And what better way to be able to organize and fuel that than cryptocurrency and these tokens?
Yeah, and there's a whole other macro trend going on too, which is, you mentioned all these digital connections, all this interaction that we're having. And up till now, the only way to capture the value of even a little bit of that is via ad revenue, pretty much. Ad revenue or subscription revenue that's offered by a YouTube or an Instagram or whoever. And it's a if you really think about it, it's a really thin business model relative to all the richness in value and connections and everyone's time and attention that's being spent on these platforms. And those corporations are taking a lot of that, a lot of that value, and the creators have been happy up until now with the fact that they could even make money doing this. But I think we're at a turning point where it's like, hey, is that the best way, right? Is it ad-based model like really what's going to be the thing for the next 10 years, or is there another way?
That phrase, a thin business model, is a beautiful phrase. And, what I think you've done is you've immediately helped people, I think, extend limited or narrow thinking, right? There's, because ultimately there's ad supported, interruptive. My first book was called Life After the 30-Second Spot, my passion project. But even subscription, even if we think about a magazine, right? Ad revenue and subscription. And what we've seen are these both one-off use cases, like a tip, for example, like the ability to redeem for an experience, access, whatever. But then there's, and we certainly will get to this shortly, this ability to endure and become part of something that transcends a one-off. So it's interesting. It's a one-off transaction, but it's actually an enduring and limitless and continuous ability to be part of something bigger. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, that's right. It gets back to JAFFE country, right? Is my favorite new analogy.
Me too.
It goes from being just an expenditure economy where it's just like, hey, I only pay for things. It's a country where we only pay for stuff. Nobody saves anything. Nobody builds any long-term value. You can imagine how that'd be very limiting in terms of investments that are being made in the JAFFE country and new products and services and experiences that could be offered in the JAFFE country. And that's not how the real economy works, right? If you look at the US, there's a lot of reasons to spend US dollars. There's a lot of reasons to hold US dollars. There's a lot of things you can spend it on. There's a lot of things you can do. It's a very rich place. And so that's how I would think about it.
And there's also an upgrading that takes place because, when you think of expenditure, it's like, for example, when you work with a company and they call you a vendor, you can look at it very tactically and very transaction, very kind of, almost inanimate, or you can actually put flesh on those bones and breathe life into it. And that's what we really are craving at the end of the day, which is connection. I thought it might be good for people that are wondering or maybe need a little bit of education in terms of how to think about this dawn of cryptocurrency as a new standard. And this is a video. I sent it to you, I think, a few weeks ago. I'll just show the first minute of it. But this is a video that Elon Musk tweeted out, and I think it does a really good job of being able to fire those synapses and make the cogs work and go, oh, I think I get it now.
Redskins, dodo heads, tepid lemonade. Get out of it. Redskins, dodo heads, tepid lemonade.
Hey, mate.
I'll take 5 of your rat skins and one of those tepid lemonades.
It's 1 chicken, mate. It's not a chicken.
No, that's much better than a chicken, my friend. That is gold.
What?
Gold. The currency of the future.
Great, come back in the future.
Rat skins.
But no, mate, I don't think you understand. This has unlimited use.
Can I eat it?
No.
Can I wear it?
No.
Can I use it as firewood?
No.
It's starting to sound pretty limited, mate.
But you can melt it and then turn it into whatever you want.
Can I turn it into food?
No, you can't eat it.
Is this going to take long?
Hold on your horses, mate. We are dealing in futures here.
Oh, what's that? Is that a rock?
No, worse, it's cold.
Oh, cold. How do I get some cold?
Gold. I have people mining for it.
Oh, you have people. La-dee-da. We got a rich one here, eh? What do you pay them with?
Gold.
Next.
So if you want to watch the rest of that video, you can actually get it. It's on my linktree. There it is. Linktree / jaffejuice, or just linktree.com / jaffejuice. I love that, Mahesh, because it really sets the scene and says, back when coal was introduced, it probably got, in some respects, the same reaction as maybe crypto has been getting, or did get, or maybe not anymore. But I just thought it was a good benchmark.
Yeah. I mean, if we really zoom all the way out, like, I hate to go so far back, but humans started bartering, and then eventually they have things like seashells that they were trading, and then you had primitive forms of currency that were created at some point, and now you have your modern incarnation of these like fiat sovereign currencies that we all know and use, and even that has gone digital. And so I think it's just important to note that there's always been these evolutions in what currencies and assets even are. And then around 2008, when the financial crisis was going down, that's when this whole concept of a cryptocurrency and Bitcoin was really created. And the way I think about it is it's really internet money. It's like money for the digital age, and it's just a evolution. It's a whole different thing.
I like that idea. Just money for the digital age. It just makes a lot of sense. Pun not intended, I suppose. You can see there it is, the Jaffe moon, the moon rising over Jaffe country. But let's talk about this initiative, because it is not a cold initiative or a gold initiative, but a bold initiative coming out of Rally. So I would love for you to set up the creator coins. I've obviously, my soliloquy spoke about the creator economy, but maybe just as you do that, you can talk a little bit about the company itself. What is rally.io? And then as you start to talk about it, I'll have little bits and pieces to, sprinkle into the conversation.
Yeah, and I think it's important to set the stage of like, what is a blockchain and what is a cryptocurrency? Maybe we can even start there, and I'll try to be super brief about that. But in simplest words I can, a cryptocurrency is just a type of currency which uses like digital files as money. And so usually these files are created using the same methods as cryptography, which is like the science of hiding information in a secure way. And cryptocurrencies leverage this concept of decentralized control, which means they aren't controlled by one person or a government, for example. And then what's a blockchain? A blockchain is really the technology behind cryptocurrencies. It's the data structure that holds the transactional records while ensuring security and transparency and decentralization. So you can kind of think of it as like a chain of records, right? If you think about a blockchain, there's just a chain of transactions that builds over time. That's why it's called a blockchain, and everybody can see what that chain is. You can't change it. It's immutable. It's not controlled by any single authority. And the first blockchain was really, the Bitcoin network, and then the cryptocurrency was Bitcoin, right? And the whole point here is that there's a decentralized network of nodes, people hundreds of thousands of people around the world who download the Bitcoin software on their computer and help secure the network in a peer-to-peer way. And their effort for doing so is that they earn a little bit of Bitcoin, right? That was the point of the, adding the cryptocurrency element to it. And then you have this, what's called a crypto economic network. That's Bitcoin. And that was like the real innovation that this anonymous person, Satoshi Nakamoto, wrote a white paper for and published. So that, that's Bitcoin. And then since then, there's been a bunch of new types of blockchains, particularly what we call these layer 1 blockchains like Bitcoin, which are like very, very large and foundational. For example, Ethereum, right? And so there's the really cool thing about things like Bitcoin is they're all open source. Anybody can copy the code and what's called fork it and create a new version of Bitcoin. And we actually have that. There's Bitcoin Gold, there's Bitcoin Cash. There's actually a few different variations of Bitcoin itself. And then you have things like Ethereum, which is essentially the same thing as Bitcoin, but there's an added twist to it where this guy Vitalik Buterin had the foresight to add like a programming layer to the network. So it's not just you can buy, sell the currency and just for kind of payments and storing value, but you can write whole applications on top of Ethereum. So I could say, hey, I want to send 100 ETH to JAFFE, and once he reaches a certain amount, I automatically send him some more, and I can write a computer program that just does that, and I can deploy it on the Ethereum network. So that was really cool. And a bunch of developers started building their own coins on top of Ethereum and building their own applications on the Ethereum network. And that's really become like the big hub. And so
Mahesh, that's an important point. So basically it's almost like an app store, right? It's like Ethereum is to crypto what the app store is to the iPhone. And that, I think that will probably help a lot of people realize that suddenly now the future is in the hands of the developers and the creators, that it isn't just being handed an opportunity, it's creating and crowdsourcing that opportunity.
That's right. Yeah. And and there are what are called dApps on Ethereum, so that they actually think about the same analogy. And there's thousands of these dApps on Ethereum. So it's really, it's really exciting, and it's this open, this open protocol that, anyone can use. There's no app store submission process in the same way that like Apple gatekeeps the app store, for example. Ethereum's not taking any revenue, right? The really cool thing is there's no company behind Ethereum. There's some engineers in an open source environment. There's a foundation that helps support the project, but there's no central company that's just sitting there taxing this network.
Well, this is a mind-blowing concept, because when you look at currencies, when you look at banks, when you look at closed or walled gardens, everything is based on control. Everything is based on fees and upcharges. Everything is based on essentially scarcity. Even the media business, that's the world that I come from. But this is opposite. It's decentralized. It's built on and based on abundance. And it seems like people keep on, it almost, you want to say like, come on, where's the catch? Where's the catch? Who's really who's really controlling the purse strings? Who's going to cash in? And it seems like it really does seem to be this selfless, maybe, or this ability to, it is the essence of what open source is, which is no one controls it because everyone controls it.
Yeah, which is not a new concept, by the way, right? There's been open source projects for decades. Like, look at Linux. Linux is a very popular operating system, and it's just there's a foundation behind Linux, actually, and people just contribute to it on an open source basis, and there's a community that rallies around Linux, and they've achieved prevalence, doing that. And there have been companies that have spawned around Linux and be like, hey, I'll help you install Linux and I'll charge you for that, but there's no one's charging for the core Linux, right? And so you get this economy that forms around Linux, but it is an open source software at the end of the day, right? And so Ethereum just takes that concept to a whole new level. And of course, Linux doesn't have a token. There's no cryptocurrency tied to Linux. The real innovation here with blockchains is that there is there's a economic motivation here to help drive adoption. So there's like a huge incentive for folks to figure out how to add value to the Ethereum network, how to grow it, how to make it more popular, because all the people who are early on Ethereum, the early developers, hold some Ethereum token, right? So they hold Ether. And so these things are growing much, much faster than like other open source projects because of the cryptocurrency nature of it as well, right? I mean, of course, everybody's excited about cryptocurrencies.
Mahesh, Tom says open source ultimately derives from the ancient sense of the commons, those areas owned by nobody but everybody. And Piers Fawkes, who's been a guest on the show, said he's keen to understand the impact on retail, especially when everything becomes a traceable asset. And by the way, Piers and people that are watching live, we're going to do an after show in Clubhouse today, and you can still watch us on Zoom. And those links are again available on my linktree as well. But I don't know if you want to respond quickly to Piers, but otherwise, and Mahesh, the other thing that just hit me is maybe that's why the company's name is Rally, because of this idea of rallying behind. It's not a rally like in the old, oh, look, it's going up, right? It's rallying behind and everyone getting behind an idea whose time has come.
Yeah, we can answer. So I think it's important not to get too caught up in like Bitcoin and Ethereum as being like the end all be all. I think those are very much 1.0 things. I don't think Ethereum solves every problem for creators, for retail, for every different sector in the world. It is the like foundational, one of the foundational layers. And I say layers because a good way to think about blockchains and cryptocurrencies is that there's multiple layers. And so we call Bitcoin and Ethereum layer ones. This is where like they're maximally secure and decentralized, and all the money kind of flows into these things to secure these networks. But then what you're seeing now is layer 2s, layer 3s, and layer 4s, which are like different types of networks built on top of Ethereum. And so this gets into, Rally, which is essentially a layer 2 built on top of Ethereum, and it's a purpose-built platform, a crypto network that's just built for creators, fans, and their communities in mind. It's not built for retail, it's not built for other sectors, but you could imagine that there'd be other types of networks that are purpose-built for retail that take into consideration, the comment that was just made around like traceable assets and whether, that's an important thing for retail or not. Somebody needs to go build that network. But what Rally did was say, hey, we're going to leverage the Ethereum network as like the backstop, but we're going to build this, this bridge network over here. And it's really just going to be focused on creators and fans and artists with the idea of helping, Joseph Jaffe build his, launch his own digital currency and build a sustainable independent economy with his fan community. And so we leverage blockchain technology, but when we talk about the Rally token and these creator coins, they're really just purpose built, not for like, hey, we want to be maximally secure and be exactly like Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever. It's really just built with use cases in mind for these creator communities, with the goal of like driving better monetization for creators that's more equitable, with fans, right? Just a better form of support. And that's what Rally is built for. So
let's show a couple of screenshots in terms of what this what creator coins looks like. So tell people what they're seeing right now, and then I'll drill into my page, and maybe you can just point out a few key things for people in terms of call outs that they should be aware of.
Yeah. So what you're looking at here is the rally.io website, which currently just has a pretty simple list of all the different cryptocurrencies, the creator coins that are launched as branded tokens for creators. And there's about 75 of these right now, and that list is growing really, really quickly. And what Rally makes it super easy to do is to take, essentially there's a very liquid Rally token that powers the whole network. And what the system allows creators to do is to take some of that Rally token to set up some liquidity for their coin, take some of that token, and then mint their own little sub coin, which we call a creator coin. And so all these coins that you see here are backed by a Rally token. right? By based on some exchange rate, which we can talk about. And so what it ends up looking like is a very simple registry where you can buy, sell, transfer, these coins to anyone who has a Rally account. And you can do so with a few clicks. You don't need a crypto wallet. You don't need to pay gas fees. You don't need to do all the crazy stuff you would normally do if you tried to buy crypto. It kind of operates like a Venmo or a Cash App in its user interface and usability. So now I'm going to go and show my page. This is my. I'm so proud of this page. My page. What are people seeing? Because they're seeing, I think this is. I took a screenshot of this just before we went on air. So right now, one JAFFE is the equivalent of 52.4 cents. Talk a little bit about what you're seeing, some of these numbers, buy, send, rewards, what's going on? Yeah, so this is a little bit of information about the JAFFE coin. There's a lot of information on this page, and I promise we will be updating the UI so it's a little bit less cluttered, but the main elements are here. There is a support volume, 10,000, $10,700 of folks who have bought his coin, and that value gets put into a reserve that backs his coins. So he's got 76,000.6 coins in circulation. Those coins are backed by almost $11,000 of US dollars worth of purchases. Those purchases actually went to go purchase more Rally tokens to put into his piggy bank to back his coins even more. And so you can see that number 31,000 Rally backing. That's how many Rally tokens are literally sitting in a smart contract backing his 76,000 coins. And there is an exchange rate. One JAFFE equals 1.5 Rally tokens. And as his economy, so as your economy grows and the demand grows, your exchange rate will increase. Like one JAFFE will be worth more Rally tokens. And then if folks are selling, it'll be, one JAFFE will be worth less Rally tokens. And so that's how you think about the price of a JAFFE, not relative to US dollars so much, but like how many Rally tokens is a JAFFE worth? And that fluctuates based on supply and demand. And then there's this one other element. There's something that says weekly reward progress. You want to talk about that briefly? Yeah, and then this also gets into like how we think about the company or the entity behind Rally. But really, there's a lot of interesting ways here for a creator to monetize this economy. So one, every creator has their own initial block of coins. That's their incentive for doing this. They can also receive coins as a donation or as a transaction, as kind of a second way to earn income. But the third way that's not super obvious is that blue box on the left. So by being part of the Rally network, the really, really cool thing here is that there is a huge supply of Rally tokens that's just being dripped out to creators and their communities every hour of every day based on, hey, is your coin economy growing or not? If your coin economy is growing, the Rally network, has an algorithm that just looks at, hey, these 20 creators are growing today. Let's drop this amount of, a big amount of Rally tokens into their creator coin economies that back their coin. And that just happens continuously and will happen continuously for the foreseeable future. And the reason we do that, the network does that rather, is because there is no company over time that's going to control the Rally network, right? Over time, as creators add value to the Rally network, and there's 1 million creators on Rally, and they're all driving transaction volume to make Rally a successful crypto project, it's the creators that are getting more ownership in the network and getting rewards for their valuable contributions, not a central company that's taking revenue, right? So it's a very important point. This network, the Rally network, is meant to be owned 60-70% ownership of the Rally tokens will be owned by the community, not a central company. Note that this is very different from any company today, right? If you add a ton of value to YouTube or Instagram or any of these central companies, you don't get squat, right? You could drive millions of users to Instagram and you're not going to get anything for that outside of maybe if they put you in an advertising partner program or something like that.
And what's so cool about it again is that the rewards are shared. The rewards are not just it's not just King Jaffe. It's been a bad week for the monarchy, right, with respect to Burger King and over in England. But it's not just about the king or the president, the prime minister of Jaffe country. It's about all the subjects, or more importantly, because it's not a monarchy, it's the people, everyone, it's the community, everyone benefits.
It goes even further, right? Like you are incentivized, Joseph, to bring on other creators because you're all backed by this rally token. You're all in the same boat, right? And so the rising tide here really does benefit all creators. This is very different from like another network. Like I'll just use a totally random network, like Uber. Uber's a network in its own right. A driver in Uber hates it if another driver joins the network because there's less rides for that driver. They're helping Uber grow as a company, and Uber is just, lowering the fees that a driver gets. And so there's these like diseconomies of scale, these like negative network effects for drivers. And so just using that as an example, like that doesn't exist in a place like Rally, simply because we've designed the token to be aligned with all creators and that rewards are distributed. And that was a very specific design choice that we made, right? And we could have designed it in a way that didn't do that, and it would have been really bad. I'm glad we set it up this way. So I think that's the power of cryptocurrency, is if we can build these networks, and then with this token, people are always like, why do you need a token? Why do you need a cryptocurrency that like kind of powers this whole thing? And the reason is because we can program it to do whatever it is we think is good for the network. And in this case, we just think it's so empowering to the creator to both earn rewards.
The mind gets blown because the question, I'm sure you get this all the time, is so abundance beats scarcity. And the more, but the other part of it is the competitive aspect, which is, wait a second, if now everyone can get themselves a creator coin, does that not dilute the exclusivity and the the VIP, the velvet glove, the rope that separates the influencers from the followers?
It absolutely doesn't, because Rally is itself not a social network. It is not a place where I come in as a fan and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm only going to buy one creator coin today. Which one's it going to be? Rather, it's the opposite. We don't want Rally. Rally's not meant to be that at all. It's meant to be your own custom branded currency. Like imagine that the Rally.io website doesn't even exist, which is potentially a future that might happen. And all this stuff just lives on your own websites and in other third-party websites, and it's really about your own fans, your own following. So there is no, it's all additive with more creators, because it makes the Rally project more visible, and makes it the prospect of being a Rally token holder more exciting. But there's no dilutive effects in the same way a marketplace might have, where some small percentage of the supply side of a marketplace takes out a lot of the demand, right? It's not an open marketplace in that way.
I love it. Well, I think let's get into some examples and use cases, because this is where it gets really exciting, where you can see this isn't theoretical, this isn't academic, this is practical, and it's real, and it's creating real value. And we got to start off with listen, I mean, we might all be closet geeks, right? Mahesh, gamers or whatever, coders, but I mean, some of us are actual real rock stars, like Portugal the Man.
Yeah, so I think as we get to some of these examples, the important point to note here is that this currency is not locked down to Rally's website. This is programmable money, and we've again made a conscious design choice to do this. And so, Joseph, over time, you can integrate your coin into your website, into other applications. You can create custom stuff around your own coin, as use your coin as a payment method on your merch site or whatever. Portugal the Man's a good example. So Portugal had this this idea where they wanted to create a new type of digital fan club, but they didn't want it to be very extractive from their community. They're just not about that. And so they actually created a Discord server would serve as like the digital fan club. And there's about 2,000 plus people in their server right now, and they just chat and hang out all day. It's like a big chat room. And they put in a Discord bot that actually looks at users' coin balances for PTM coin and automatically assigns them a role in the Discord if you hold a certain amount of coins. I think it's 10 coins. Yeah, and when you get that role, you can access parts of the server that other regular users can't access, including a fan-generated audio archive that a couple of those diehard fans maintain. It's got like 12 years of concert footage in there. And then you can then submit to that archive, talk about that archive, do listening parties with the band around some of that stuff. And so they have they've created like real depth in their fan club using a literal Discord bot that's, looks at users' coin balances. So a very, very custom programmatic benefit that the band kind of just sets it up and doesn't have to manage this thing on a manual basis. So that's the very first thing that they did, and they're going to be doing tons of other cool stuff.
Amazing. And then this is not scary. It's the opposite of scary. There is the Boo coin. If you are in Clubhouse and you haven't seen notifications for a Bumani X, then you're not paying attention. Tell us a little bit about the Boo coin.
Right. So Bumani is a super savvy innovator. He's using his coin in his Cotton Club event that he does, which is kind of this audio sensory experience of like a speakeasy setting. In Clubhouse, it's kind of hard to explain, but there's like a bartender in there and they're playing music and they pretend kind of like they're in a speakeasy. And so folks are using his coin to give tips to the bartender, to make drinks. They're using it as like a fun little in-house currency. He's also exploring how to set up audio alerts within Clubhouse using his coin. So having a dashboard where he could configure, hey, if somebody donates 10 coin or 50 coin or 100 coin, he could have a menu and sounds would automatically play in his Clubhouse rooms. And it could be just like a ding, 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 or it could be a 20-second riff of him playing guitar because he's a musician, or kind of like a coin jukebox where, hey, I donate 20 coins and maybe a beat automatically plays and then somebody else is like singing over the beat, because they do a lot of these like improv rooms. So that's what Bumani is looking.
Love it. And it's special requests, but it's also live, so with integration even into Corona TV, the ability to ask a question, the ability to almost take the conversation in a very different direction, that where a viewer says, wait a second, this is not a passive experience anymore. I'm not just sitting back and watching, consuming. I'm actually a part of this. And this is something that actually came to me. It was like an amazing one of the episodes. I think it was with Murray Nossel, where he said, a listener of a story, someone who's in the audience, if not for them, there is no story. There's no storyteller. We've always thought of people that consume our content as being on the other side of the fifth wall. But the reality is we're actually all interconnected. And so the ability I loved how you called it a sensory audio experience, but suddenly the ability to just, subtly interject it's very cool.
And the sky's the limit, right? Like there's literally infinite things that you can use your own currency for, which is exciting. It's an exciting design space for a creator to think about like how they can push things forward. And so on from a live standpoint, we've got a lot of Twitch streamers who have been live streaming for years, and they've had years to innovate on this stuff. And so we've got, the streamer Ali Straza, who hosts Hearthstone. She plays this card game, Hearthstone. She hosts Hearthstone tournaments with her Twitch community where they can all play in it, and it costs coin to enter the tournament, and the payout is done in coin too. So she's like running these like custom tournaments, and these are all live, these live tournaments. We have another streamer, Fanhots, who, he's integrated his coin into his Streamlabs tool, which is a tool that he uses to support his live stream. And if you donate coin to him, or if you purchase a certain amount of coin on the rally.io website, a live alert will trigger on his live stream. The whole community will see it, and he'll say, oh, hey, hey man, thanks for the 20 coin donation, or thanks for the $100 coin purchase, right? And so he gets live alerts which is very, very typical behavior on Twitch. It's all around these like live alerts and the streamer reacting to and interacting with his chat, right?
And you can and he'll play the character. I mean, he'll basically like play the game with whether it's the skin or the character of your choice. Couple more examples. These are just amazing. The pastel coin, and talk a little bit about this idea of special releases and early and first listens.
Yeah, so Jack J, real hot emerging artist. You can see he's got 4.4 million followers on his Instagram. He released his music video Casamigos via his own coin last week. He also, like Portugal the Man, did it in his own Discord server. There's a bot in there also assigning roles based on how many coins that you hold or how many coins that you've donated. And so he's kind of dropping these things in his Discord behind this coin wall, this coin gated access. And he wants to do this with his new streetwear merch brand. He wants, he's got a bunch of new music coming out soon. And he wants to keep dropping that in exclusive ways to VIPs. He also happens to be a Twitch streamer. So like, I think he's already up and running with his own live donation alerts on his Twitch stream. And so he's really thinking about like, how do I build my empire, right? Like, how to have this coin span this entire thing. So he's really leaning into.
And then there's one more example, which, I mean, this one is like, again, it's like, sit down, just steady yourself. But when you really want to see an entire economy in action, the most famous artist is Matty Mo is just leading the way in terms of just creating this. I mean, he's so far down the road in terms of creating an entire operating manual with rules. It's just I have no words.
What Matty's doing is insane. I mean, it's as advanced as it gets. So he has I guess he has this community of artists, his 300 artists that he already has, and they host these workshops with one another and support one another. And so they are kind of charging this. They have this art coin now that's a kind of a collective coin that they all use, and artists can run workshops and charge other artists in coin. There's a different artist with an Instagram handle that's will promote other artists' work, and so you can pay coin to get promoted there. He has art exhibitors and people who want to commission art from the community, and he's having them pay in coin. He's paying people in the community for services that they provide in his own coin. He's got a Discord server where he's doing a lot of the same stuff we just talked about. And he's even selling NFTs in a very interesting way where artists in his community contribute art to that NFT. He'll then sell NFTs and then they'll split the proceeds between the artists that contributed as well as himself and his brand. And then they'll kind of use the coin to funnel some of that activity into NFTs and then back into his coin. So very circular, complex, like real economy that is just like incredibly engaging and an amazing case study for his community.
Just totally amazing. And we're going to go into Clubhouse in the next few minutes. You can connect with myself on Clubhouse. I'm at jaffejuice. You can join the JAFFE Club. At the moment, JAFFE Coin will not get you into the JAFFE Club because you can just follow the JAFFE Club. It is coinless at the moment, and of course, you can connect with Mahesh on Clubhouse at M Vellanki and also on Twitter. Mahesh, we're going to open up the room in a couple minutes, but I geeked out on this idea. In Built to Suck, I introduced a concept called embrace your heresy in order to define your legacy. And part of this is, are you prepared to put yourself out of business? And one of the things that I even said was that companies should have term limits after which they should be either dissolved, dissected, or disrupted. And then I heard the other day, and I almost fell off my chair, that your goal, your hope, your intent is to dissolve the company, to essentially put yourselves out of business. Please talk to that, and just know, in responding to this idea of, truly, if you love something, set it free. That old adage, right? you're making me very happy. I'm a very happy man because this is exactly what I'm talking about. You've made this dream come true. Tell us what this even means.
So we are following the same playbook as in some ways as Ethereum and Bitcoin, where we didn't start. This is just completely open source thing from day one. We're trying to build something very specific, but then the idea is that we progressively decentralize this network and have it be run by the community fully over time. And it already is predominantly run by the community of Rally token holders, and I can explain how that works. But the idea here is that instead of there being a single company that runs the network, there's actually multiple small companies, right? And the core Rally will be open sourced, similar to that Linux example, but there will be multiple companies, some of which we started and helped, but they're small little entities. Maybe there's an agency that helps creators get onto the network. There's a compliance arm that makes sure things are secure. There's a foundation that has a skeleton crew of engineers that are maintaining the network, but not one single company that has more power than anyone else. And that other people could start their own competing companies. Like Joseph, you could start your own agency and bring creators to the network, and your agency might be more popular than the one Rally started to
I will never compete with you.
Well, yeah,
I'm on Team Mahesh.
Yeah, exactly. So point is, it's meant to over time, and over time, I mean, in the next year, it's a very aggressive timeline to do this, where most of the active development will be being done by third-party developers, not Rally as a first party. The way creators get on the network and all the supporting activities, these like kind of advisory activities, will happen as much third-party as it is, with whatever Rally initially set up. And so the idea here is that Rally as a singular company dissolves very quickly, mind you, and that's why we don't take any revenue. Rally doesn't take any revenue today, never plans to, never needs to, right? Frankly, because there is no like 1,000-person company to maintain, right? And so we've been really thoughtful about this. And over time, Rally is run by the community and for the community.
All right. Well, the first question, I've just opened up our room in Clubhouse. The first question I'm going to ask you in Clubhouse is: are you a philanthropist? It seems. How is Mahesh going to make money? It's phenomenal to hear. I am honored. I'm humbled to be a part of this journey with you, and appreciate the opportunity. We have 2 more things to do, and then we'll head on over to Clubhouse. We'll do it very quickly. One of them is always a quote of the episode. This is the quote: "If you don't believe it or don't get it, I don't have the time to try to convince you. Sorry, in trying to convince about crypto. I will put you out your misery," in case you didn't know who said this. But that, of course, could only be Satoshi Nakamoto. He doesn't need to educate people because we're doing it for him. And we're all part of this evangelist group as well. Mahesh, one more question for you before we go. It's this week's Corona question. What is the one thing that you just can't stop doing?
Yeah, for me, it's being curious, like, and just I'm such a thinker and I'm a curious person, and for me, like, I'm not someone who could ever just have a regular job, even if it paid me super well. It's got to be just fucking awesome, right? It just got to get me excited, just be really interesting and cool, and there have to be things to be figured out. So for me, it's just being curious and constantly pulling on that thread on things that I don't fully understand.
Well, I will never profess to fully understand this, but I ask lots of questions, and thankfully people like you give me lots of answers as well. This has been guest number 217 on this particular journey, which feels less lonely because of guests like Mahesh Vellanki and also this wonderful community. And now with the JAFFE coin, we have the ability to actually do something with it together. You can find out more about Rally at rally.io. and you can view all the creators. Remember, as much as I'd like to tell you to buy and hold and send Jaffe coin, you clearly learned today that the objective is buy a lot of coin, and good goes around. Spread the love. You can connect with Mahesh on Clubhouse. We're going there right now, and myself. Mahesh, thank you for your time today. Thank you for coming in. And, there is no doubt that Chuck Norris has only one thing to say about you.
You are Chuck Norris approved.
There you go. I will see you in Clubhouse now. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Take care.
Thank you for watching Corona TV with your host, multiple author and global keynote speaker, Joseph Jaffe. Corona TV is the show about hope, positivity, optimism, and if there's time left over, a little bit of marketing. The after show on Zoom starts right now at bit.ly/Corona TV After Show. If you like the show, tell a friend or two. Please subscribe to the show at coronatv.show. And if you want to get inside news, previews of upcoming guests, and much more, text Corona TV to 66866 or visit josephjaffe.com/subscribe to sign up for the show's newsletter.
And despite the best ministrations of your wife, you still look ugly.